A motion was filed by Mustafa's lawyer, Brad Haywood. By law, she has to turn over everything. So we're at a stage, we're almost 4 years into this case. Mustafa is in a county jail without a trial. And the prosecutor is at a stage where she's forced to turn over everything. In one of Mustafa's documents, the prosecutor is telling the police department, make sure you turn over everything. The judge has no problem dismissing the case. In Mustafa's file, prosecutor, at one point, Mustafa's defense attorney, Brad Haywood, filed a Brady motion that there are missing pieces of evidence in Mustafa's file. And this is exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory means important evidence for this case to show what actually happened. And the prosecution is withholding exculpatory evidence. A motion was filed by Mustafa's lawyer. That body cam would have captured when he handled Mustafa's dash camera. I mean, this wants to tell us that the wire is broken. When he showed up, Brad Mustafa's file.
actually get a new 401k, because I just found out, and I think they do, and based on what I've been told, whether that's what I was told at the border, I go and ask in Sinaloa or Jalisco or Michoacan or Guerrero, the consensus remains the same. And the people in charge are treated like gods. They are absolutely praised as if they are the one.
We see all the songs about El Mencho, El Chapo, El Mayo, and you can literally go to Sinaloa and buy narco merch. You know, you got the hat with whoever's face on it. You can even buy like religious regalia that is paying homage to narco leaders.
Jeez.
And so the people who work for them praise them. People who don't work for them praise them and want to work for them. So if you're telling 17-year-old kid who has always wanted to be in this lifestyle, you're gonna die for me and American forces are coming in, he'll stand up. He'll probably shit his pants, but he'll do it. He'll put on face.
How many of these labs do you think have been set up in Canada? Do you have any estimation on that?
I don't know exactly how many labs are operating in Canada, but the majority of the labs that are in Canada, which is significant because there is certainly a supply. There is no lack of drugs in Canada or the United States, right? And especially in northern states too, where a lot of these drugs are coming into. I think the majority of them are being run by the cartels. And the interesting thing is, you won't really see it in the numbers or in police investigations or press releases, because they don't keep track of which criminal organizations are operating what, like which labs. So, for example, you will, someone will be arrested. Three men will be arrested for trafficking.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Make sure you share out the live, share on your Facebook. We did a podcast earlier, so make sure you watch the podcast, leave me questions, share the podcast on your Facebook, and hit the like button. All right, we're on our way to a pickup. 6 minutes. Our ETA 6 minutes. We're out and about, door dashing, trying to make some money. So 6 minutes, we've got to pick up. Yeah, and make sure you share out the podcast and hit the like button.
Arms and drugs. They were arrested in a Surrey home in British Columbia, and we found X amount of drugs, X amount of arms, with this amount of street value. They won't say, oh, you know, they were operating on behalf of the Sinaloa cartel. They will say, we found messages in our investigation that they were operating with Mexican associates. And some people will then subsequently be charged, and they'll be Mexican nationals living in Canada. Those guys are working for the cartels. But Canadian authority doesn't keep track, or at least not publicly, of who is working with exactly which criminal organization. And I think that also does play a role in allowing the cartels to flourish over there, because they can operate so entirely under the radar. I mean, here in the US, for the first time a few weeks ago, a woman in El Paso was arrested for particularly working as a straw buyer for CJ&G. And this was the first case of
Hello, thank you for being here. Is that Cattle or Katie? Jock, hello. Deep Bus, thank you for being here. Hello, everybody. Hello. Do I have an order? Yes, I do. Our ETA is 4 minutes. 4 minutes. In the meantime, we're listening to Sean Ryan talk about the what's going on over the border. I find this podcast interesting. What's his name? Exit is all over the news talking about what's going on over the border. I think Exit is a joke, if you ask me. Okay? I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think it's just a political stunt. But yeah, Hexet is all over the news talking about what these guys are talking about.
In the US, with material to be charged as an FTO. In Canada, that wouldn't be the case. You wouldn't hear that, oh, she was directly working as an associate with the New Generation Cartel.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring light to that, especially in a border place like El Paso, then everyone who's doing it is kind of on edge. And then they say, okay, look, hey, we're under a spotlight. But if that's not happening, you continue to operate like there's no spotlight on us. We don't need to worry, because there isn't.
Do Canadians know this is happening?
Well, if they read my reporting, they know now. I mean, Kash Patel, director of the FBI, is now saying it publicly. He just said that they're coming in through
Kash Patel is a joke.
the port of Vancouver. They're producing fentanyl. The fentanyl is coming from Canada because they haven't secured the northern border. And when I initially started reporting on this, and I was reaching out to RCMP and reaching out to CSIS and putting out my contact, everyone was telling me, no, you're wrong, this can't be. And RCMP was telling me, we have no evidence to show that local criminal organizations are working directly with cartels. But I met with cartel associates in Canada showing me the production, telling me how they're doing it. And it goes back to what you asked me, why are they telling me this? Because they want to show you exactly how they're operating under the radar. They're so tough.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, you secured our southern border? Fuck you, we moved to Canada.
How much is one of these labs producing? Do you know that?
Yeah, like, okay, so one batch will be like $150,000 worth of fentanyl pills.
And how
And
many,
they're
how many
producing-
pills is that? Any
It
idea?
depends, because it depends on the size of the pills. It depends on the strength of what the strength of fentanyl in each pill.
Okay, let's roll, dudes! And I'm going 10, 30, 65 in a 45 zone. Yo, what's my guest take on heat? Oh, and hello, officer.
I'm just trying to get an estimation of how much shit is coming through, the northern U.S.-Canadian border. And then how fast do you think this is spreading? I mean, it sounds like right now it's pretty localized in Vancouver, but when's it going to go, more towards the other coast?
It is in the East Coast. It's not at the same level, but it certainly is in the East Coast. What I know what's happening for sure in the East Coast is a lot of people are being contracted by the cartels and not Mexican people. Canadian nationals are being contracted by the cartels to operate as enforcers. A lot of people in Quebec and Ontario.
What do you mean enforcer? What does that mean? It's like a hockey player.
It's like
It protects the hockey team, right?
they're protecting the operations.
How
They're
so? What are they doing?
taking out hits, threatening people, ensuring that the right individuals are being paid off, whether that be enforcement at the border so that guns can get across into Canada from the US, or fentanyl can go the other way.
How are they getting their people up there? Are they coming up through the U.S.?
Yeah.
Just keep going north, or are they flying them in?
So prior to Canada re-implementing the visa requirement, a lot of the Mexican nationals were flying directly into Canada. They completely would bypass the US. It was much easier that way because they wouldn't need a visa.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a little bit different. Now some of the operatives who were already based in the US are moving into Canada.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when I gained access to a few group chats that were run by the cartels on WhatsApp, Telegram. WhatsApp is like the starting point just because of the way the encryption is set up. They don't want to talk about too much, but because it is so accessible, it's a great way to hire people, recruit people. And so I gained access to a group chat where they were basically recruiting people to work as enforcers for them, sicarios, managing certain logistics of the business, whether that's paying off authority, finding out who's who, getting the arms, finding the dealers, contracting straw buyers, whatever it may be. When I was in this group chat, the first thing that stood out to me was 2 of the phone numbers were Canadian area codes. One was Alberta and one was Toronto. And one of the individuals was directly asked if he could take out a hit if need be. He would be paid $55,000 Canadian. He would have to buy a Glock with three mags, I think it was. I have this screenshot. And there could be no kids around. And if he goes to the house, make sure that no family is around of the individual that needs to be killed.
Regina?
And so for a lot of these people, money was put on the table right away. You get into this group chat, whether that means you're going to be moving fentanyl pills into the US, whether that means you may have to take...
What the fuck was that? I mean, you're sitting in the drive-thru for like a good 15 minutes. A random kid comes out and he's like, can you come inside the lobby? I'm like, I've been sitting in the drive-thru for a good fucking 15 minutes. Can you do me a favor? Can you get out of the drive-thru and come inside? I'm like, I'd rather not. Don't mind me just sitting here waiting 15 minutes in the drive-thru. Can you do me a favor? Rather not do you that favor. Thank you. Oh, Regina? Yes. I think I got it. All right, thank you. Okay. All right, ETA, 15 minutes till drop off. Regina, where are you taking us? Where are we going? All right. "15 minutes.
Hit. or pay someone off, conducts any sort of logistics, it was, this is how much you'll make. Take it or leave it. And that was, for a lot of people, that first incentive. Now, for a lot of other folks, it was, I'm going to be a part of the cartel. For a lot of these people, they're kind of outcasts. And they feel like power, or they're like an aggressive person. And a lot of those type of guys who kind of had like a violent past, boxers, were being hired as sicarios. And the way they would be recruited into these group chats was either through social media. So a lot of fake postings or postings on Facebook or TikTok that would allude to what they could become a part of, but also just through knowing someone, word of mouth.
Interesting.
Hey, my niece is dating this guy. He's been here from Mexico for around 6 years. He's making a ton of money. I know you're strapped for cash. Would you, if you get a package and you just have to drive it across the border, go to the Sears or Walmart parking lot, someone's gonna pick it up, don't look inside, and you're gonna get paid $70,000. Just go and come back. People will do it.
Damn. And Canada's not doing. You actually, on the outline, I saw that they are also recruiting from the Balkans.
Yeah,
Did I see that?
yeah. Balkan states, like Armenian guys too. A lot of ex-gang members from over there. And in Australia too. I mean, at this
They're
point,
recruiting from Australia?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Australia, England, like, it seems like there's like this thing with the Commonwealth places is like,
Why are they going to the? I mean, why are they? It sounds like there's no shortage of people that want to join the cartels.
there isn't. And that's what,
So why are they recruiting out of the Balkans?
because they need an international stronghold. And so when you have people who don't look like you, don't talk like you, and come from different training backgrounds, they can fly under the radar a lot better. And they have access to different areas that certain Mexican operatives do not. So, say for example, not that long ago, there was a blatant daylight shooting in Vancouver. A guy was killed, and he was shot by a Canadian man from Quebec, super French name. This individual had spent years in Mexico and Colombia, and was said to eventually work for the cartel, go to Canada, and take out this hit. Now, how much better is it that you have a Canadian national taking out a hit? He knows where to go. He knows how law enforcement operates. He's from this place. He has access. The chances that there's going to be a fuck up are a lot less. And also, if you know that Canadian law enforcement is not directly attacking the cartels when an associate who's not Mexican is operating for them, of course you're going to have a foreign person, a Canadian or an Australian or someone from England, take out the hit or commit the crime.
Yeah, are they trying to spread into Europe and Armenia and Australia as well? I mean, could that be another reason
Yeah.
to make connections?
Yeah, and there are already Interpol reports of particularly CG&G having activity, having strongholds in Australia, in Western Europe, in Kenya. There was I think I'm crazy when I talk about this, but they found a CG&G linked lab in Kenya, Africa.
Wow. What the hell are they doing over there?
Producing and trafficking. It's an international operation. And to me, it makes sense that they are moving everywhere. It's like the catch me if you can.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me with I guess it would, in Kenya, I mean, I don't know how many people would be able to afford fentanyl, but
But it's not about domestic distribution. It's about that production there and being so far removed from where the Hawkeye view is, which is Canada, US, and Mexico, and being able to move the product outwards from there.
You know, the other thing is, and I'm not saying you're wrong by any means,
It's
but
okay, you
to
can.
me, it doesn't make sense why they would pay a Canadian 55,000 Canadian dollars to put a hit out to assassinate somebody or fly somebody in from the Balkans or Australia, when we do know they don't give a shit about their people dying. You know, I mean, we've seen that for years. You know, they give them 5 minutes of training and send them off to their work.
Yeah.
But, you know, and so it's not very cost effective for them to have to pay that price when they can just send somebody, you know, from a little pueblo that has nothing into into Canada, US, anywhere they want, you know.
It's certainly not cost effective, but I think logistically it works for them. You have a Canadian. Trump tried to say, you know, we got to crack down on the northern border, and Kash Patel has been putting a lot of pressure. They've been doing these sort of public things like, you know, the appointing a fentanyl czar, amping up the amount of border patrol at the northern border. But in terms of really getting to the root of the problem, it's being swept under the rug. And a lot of folks that I've spoken to in Canadian law enforcement agree with that notion.
Interesting.
And if I speak to any of my sources that are, you know, associates with the cartel operating in Canada, they feel like it's business as usual.
Are they infiltrating? I mean, how big are they getting into Canada? I mean, like in the U.S., we know they're starting to get involved in politics, local police departments. A lot of them are joining the military to get the training and then get out.
I don't think that's happening yet, and because I don't think it's necessary. I think that the way that they've set up shop is working for them, and they're not going to fix something that isn't broken and risk losing what they have.
Okay.
And it's also important to keep in mind that there is evidence, and, you know, there's all these reports that come out from CSIS about Chinese intervention in Canadian politics and elections. And if the Mexican